All right, my little countdown video. It's not playing. Anyway, what's going on? Miguel, host of Life Full Circle Radio. What's good? What's good in the hood? As I meant to make this joke last week, as Kia always talks about our open music sounds like it's a stripper music. Did you know that Jermaine Dupri is doing a documentary on Magic City? I can't make this stuff up. So in a year, Jermaine Dupri is doing a documentary on Magic City, as well as he's releasing a documentary on Freaknik. I'm just telling you, man, we are really at a place where the mistakes that we made in our youth are being exposed. It is what it is. All right, let's get into this thing. All right. Every time I think everything is perfect, something wants to trip on me. And I'm just like, man, what in the Sam Hill is going on? What's up?
Let me start with Magic City being a documentary. I get it. Magic City and King of Diamonds are two of the most famous strip clubs around in the U.S.
King of Diamonds. What is that? Which one is that?
Don't act like you've never heard of King of Diamonds. That just hurts my Southern heart.
No, I have no idea. What is King of Diamonds?
King of Diamonds is a very, very famous fancy strip club in Miami. It's where all, like, when people come down for Super Bowl, they go to King of Diamonds. It's King of Diamonds in Magic City. I am
not a frequenter of strip clubs. And for some of y'all that's in the audience who know me and been to the strip club with me way back in the day, I said not a frequenter. I never said I've never been. So don't drop that stuff in the comments. It's been a long time.
Well, I will sit through this documentary just like I didn't think I was going to enjoy the documentary on the American Gladiators, and I was enthralled.
You know what I'm watching right now? Yeah, I may pick that up because it's summertime and nothing else going on. My kids are running around here having us watching the Game Show Network all summer, so we're starving for programming right now.
You better get used to the Game Show Network, because with this SAG-AFTRA and WAG strike, we ain't gonna be watching no new programming.
Man, who you telling? And people getting ready to see. Right now, folks don't really care because they're used to it being the programming this time of year being whack. When it comes down to the fall and those premieres are not happening.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, shows that probably were recording over the summer probably had to stop midway through recording. So
I want to have a conversation. I got a couple of people who I know who are actors and writers and in that space, and I want to have conversations with them about Atlanta, about the South, and that's a whole different conversation around labor unions. We need to have somebody qualified to come on the show to talk to us about it. But labor unions across the board are being just decimated. And when you start talking about, whether it be shipbuilders or steel workers or whatever, now you're in the space where it's talking about our entertainment and folks going to start paying attention, right? Because they look at it and say, and this is one of the stories we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the SAG and all that good stuff.
Well, let's introduce all our stories and then we'll deep dive into everything.
Got it. So today, the biggest story that I'm going to be talking about today is the story about the Gathering Spot. And so if you aren't familiar about the Gathering Spot is a community of Black entrepreneurs that happen to be in a building that started here in Atlanta. Two brothers, one by the name of Ryan Wilson and T.K. Peterson. Two brothers who went to Georgetown together. Young guys, man, them guys might be 32, 3 years old right now. Mm-hmm. Started this thing about 7-8 years ago. My name is on the wall. Tracy's name is on the wall.
Common's name is on the wall.
Common's name is it's all the founding people who were there in the beginning, and I don't say that as a flex. That was the way this community was built. My name is one or two names above Common's on the wall, in addition to Keisha Lance Bottoms and T.I. and Ambassador Young and so many people who were believed in this community from the very beginning. Excuse me. And so what happened about 2 years ago, a year, actually wasn't that year, it was a year ago, they were acquired by Greenwood. So we're going to get into that conversation because that is all over the internet right now, because Greenwood, who purchased them a little over a year ago, has fired one of the founders of this organization, and the community ain't having it. So we're going to be talking about Greenwood. We're going to be talking about the AKAs have established their own credit union. And that's actually a part of the same conversation, because we're talking about Black folks and money, and how important it is.
About Karley Russell who
Karley Russell, is it Karley or Callie? But we'll get it right.
I'm seeing Karley, Carlee Russell. She was. We don't know what she was. We just know that we are very happy that she was returned safe to her family at their doorstep.
You said you weren't gonna put that on the air. See how you did that? I like how you just
I'm
said
so
that.
sorry. I have to. I'm sorry, guys. I wouldn't be me if I didn't just call, as someone who's a true crime lover. This doesn't make any sense to me. It's
Okay,
very odd.
we'll talk about that, about
about
Karley Russell. She vanished and then she popped back up yesterday, I believe it was.
Yes.
And so, in addition to that, we're going to get into some other conversations. But let's get into this thing, our life will circle story today. So, as we mentioned, this big story that is going on around the community is the story of the Gathering Spot, and I want to give you guys a little bit of context with the Gathering Spot. So, when you look at this picture here. The two brothers that are here, well, they're kind of flanked on the outside. Ryan is in the foreground. On the far end with the locks is TK. In the middle is Paul Judge and Ryan Glover. So co-founders of the Gathering Spot sue Greenwood for allegedly breaching purchase agreement, seek to regain ownership. So here's the story. The Gathering Spot, as I mentioned, started about 7 or 8 years ago. Building here in Atlanta. They had a second location in DC. The third location is in Los Angeles. But in the meantime, they have built relationships and built a community that's nationwide, if not worldwide, right?
And the Atlanta location, Miguel had his birthday there. It is a fabulous location. It has the meeting spaces, the podcast rooms, like it has a restaurant space, an outdoor space. It's everything you could imagine. Imagine like a kind of collective professionals having their own space.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
No, and it's amazing. And that's just the physical building. And that's the part, the physical building is amazing. We definitely love the physical building, but it's the community, right? Because it has an app. It has its own app that we can go in and find people who are doing whatever, or provided whatever services and activities throughout the community. In addition to that, if anyone follows Ryan, Ryan is much more the vocal one. Ryan is the face. He's a longtime CEO. TK's position, he was the CFO. He was the financial guy. These two brothers met in Atlanta. Not in Atlanta. Met in DC as students at Georgetown. They go back to they created this thing in their dorm room. It was that serious for them. And then all of a sudden, these
and everybody says all of a sudden. It's all of a sudden to the people on the outside looking in.
Man.
Say that.
Yeah, because when it came down to when the purchase happened, let me even back up further because I've got a lot of context as I'm sitting here in Atlanta. Anybody who talks about the greatness which is Atlanta. Atlanta is an amazing place for Black folks in different areas of the world, right? Probably I'm going to say 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, the two brothers in the middle, Paul Judge, who is a brilliant, he's Dr. Paul Judge. He is a brilliant tech entrepreneur. He's just a really sharp guy. Ryan Glover, who's next to him, was an entrepreneur. He used to own Bounce TV. What?
Oh, it's that Paul. This is for those of y'all who don't know, who are like Paul. He's just saying all these names. If you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta,
it is. That is correct. I just made it make sense to you.
Yes, Paul is the life partner of what I can't think of the woman's name right now, but he was on a couple seasons.
Tanya something.
Tanya. That was her life partner. Remember the cookie lady? That's Paul from the Cookie Lady. Okay, now we're good to go.
Now we're good to go. Sorry. Well, they supposedly they're breaking up. Is what's out in them streets. So the two, Paul Judge and Tanya, whatever her name is, that's the rumor mill in the street.
Sorry, this is a different tea. We're focusing on tech tea right now.
But that's the funny thing. Here's the thing. As someone who loves reality TV, and I'm so glad you brought that to the forefront of the conversation, because now this makes sense to you. Just like the situation with Eva Marcel, right? When Eva Marcel was going through the divorce with Michael Sterling, I know Michael Sterling as what he is as a business person in the city of Atlanta. You guys know him as just being the husband of Eva Marcel on the reality TV shows, right? These people are these people are real players, right? Paul Judge is a major player.
That I knew. Yes.
Paul Judge is a major player. So his other two partners in the Greenwood venture are Killer Mike and
Yep.
Ambassador Young.
Yes.
So you're talking about a collection that doesn't happen in any other city but Atlanta, where you have a show enough from the streets all the way up, hip hop rap dude, to a tech entrepreneur, to a business entrepreneur, to Ambassador Young, who's a civil rights icon, all went into business together to create Greenwood, which was coming off of, obviously what happened in the last 4 or 5 years. Now, here's the part that always made me pause. The part that always made me pause was the fact that Greenwood is not a bank, even though they marketed themselves as a bank.
I didn't get that whole.
Greenwood is no different than Cash App or any other financial tech vehicle that has a bank which is backing it. So there's a lot, huh?
I don't like it. I don't like it because it sounds like a rush card.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm good. That's not a bank. That's not a bank.
It's not a bank. It is exactly that. So people who had rush cards back in the day, that's what Greenwood is, right? And so as you look at this thing and you say, all you have to do is go into the footer of Greenwood's website, and in small print, it'll show you the community bank which backs Greenwood. You click on that link, it is lily white.
Yeah.
And so Greenwood was promoted as being this great vehicle for Black business, and God knows it was named after Greenwood, right? And the backing of this was this. So then this comes out. The Gathering Spot Fiasco co-founder TK Peterson replaces him with new CFO. And this was posted by our friend and yours, Ike Hayes III, who is a tech entrepreneur. And he has been stirring this pot all weekend, including, posts from Van Lathan, who we all know who Van Lathan is, right? And so this is how deep this goes. This is not just now Black Enterprise has picked this story up. AJC has picked this story up. It is all over the place. And so then what do? They send out to us who are members this email.
Yeah, talk about the email, because that's what I saw posted. And now that post is deleted, it only has the follow-up email that is now on the page.
So they send out this email, and they basically it was so cold and sterile, and they talked about the addition of this CFO. I don't remember what his name is. And the community went bananas. Hold up.
Mm-hmm. I have the original email, because I don't know if you read. Okay, but the original email said that went out to you guys, and it only said this. It said, as TK Peterson moves on to the new endeavors, his last day. No, that wasn't it.
That's not the first email. But go ahead.
It was a piece of one of these.
So as you work on pulling it up, it was so jumbled together. It was so jumbled together that the community jumped on it so crazy that then by it was like 12:30 in the morning on Saturday morning, we all got this second email that was much more glowing about TK, and it wouldn't be what it is without TK, and blah 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 blah.
Okay.
Blah. Right. And so as I'm looking, that's not right. As I'm looking at as I'm looking at this email, we're all like almost laughing that this thing was so poorly stitched together and put together, and said to myself, like, who do y'all think y'all are fooling, right?
You have the original one, because I saw it. It was a weird little paragraph saying this is who the CFO is. TK is leaving. It was very blunt and matter of fact.
It was very blunt. It was very sterile. And so then after they sent that email, here's what I do have, which is posted on the Gathering Spot's Instagram. So I'm not making this up, right? This is for anybody following the Gathering Spot to see. You may have seen some inaccurate reports of social media recent team change. We also are aware that some of you received an unauthorized email that was sent from a Gathering Spot email address that provided incorrect information.
No.
Man, stop. As you may have noticed, the email did not follow our standard brand style for official communication with the TGS community. We don't know. Us in the community who are marketers, sure, we understand your brand style guides. The average person reading the email didn't know nothing about no style guides. They knew that it was sloppily written and put out. We apologize for this disgruntled message with inaccurate information. which became a source for further media reporting. We apologize for any inconvenience caused by this incident and working on improving the security and controls. So your first paragraph is all about, oh, that's not really what we wanted to say. With that said, let's get you up to speed on the changes recently over the last year. So not just this one change, but not this what you just sent out, which was this garbage. We want to get you up to speed on what's happened over the last year. Okay. A thank you to TK as TK Peterson moves on to other endeavors.
Yep.
His last day as chief operating officer. First of all, he was chief operating. I'm about to say not executive. Chief operating officer of Gathering Spot will be July 31st. Without TK's leadership as co-founder, would not be what it is today. TK remains recognized as a co-founder and shareholder in Greenwood. We wish him. They even put the future endeavors in it. Did they put the future endeavors in there?
So here's the thing, what happened with that first email. Somebody probably said, their marketing or their digital marketing manager was like, y'all got to say something. And that person was probably hounding them all day. Y'all got to say something. Y'all got to say something. Y'all got to say something. That digital manager finally didn't get a response, put together a paragraph, asked the wrong person, probably somebody at Greenwood, like, yo, is this what y'all want to put out? Yes, go ahead and put that out. That person just put that out. So them throwing the digital man, I hate when they throw digital marketing managers under the bus. I know our marketing moment isn't right now, but I hate when they throw them under the bus. Like they didn't have to go through 5 other people to just post something. That's not how digital marketing managers and assistants aren't just out here like, oh, I feel like posting this, so I'm just going to post it. That's not how it works. Miguel knows that.
Yeah. No, so here in addition to, all of this gobbledygook that they put out there, right? After you done already dropped the ball, Mike McCloskey is this guy. All right. And so in addition to that, then you want to put this out, your diversity and inclusion post. This is TGS.
Where's the percentages page? They sent out the percentages page too. Where's that? Yes!
It's right there.
Let me tell you why this made me laugh, that they put these percentages out there. Because they have all these black executives with this one little white guy. It was like a weird game of Where's Waldo, by the way, trying to find the white person, which I feel like that's why they did it. That's why they did it like that. Because if you have the right light on the right black person, they look light skinned and the white guy kind of blends in. Anyway, so the next slide is the percentages of what the company is. And they're just kind of, well, we're still 75% black. We're still 95% black and minority. We're still 88% black and minority leadership. We're still mostly black.
Here's the bull crap in this, right? You don't have to have a diversity conversation if you're really TJS. You can't talk to, see, this is who you're talking to. You're talking to people who've been a part of this community from the very beginning. You don't need to have diversity as our DNA as part of the conversation. That makes it even more bullshit, okay? And so when it comes down to it, all that you put out is just the staff of TGS. This is not the staff of Greenwood. And they're getting ready to make me pull up what Greenwood looks like, right?
We don't need all that mayo on our screen.
And here's the thing, and I don't want to make sure that, because you guys are racist, blah, 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 blah. You do not understand the community of TGS. We all understand that there is going to be universal white general market money that's going to help most of our businesses thrive. Just don't lie to us.
Yes,
and that was the challenge. Right.
I think I have a bigger beef with Killer Mike with the bait and switch. I feel like it's a bait and switch. The bank was supposed to be. I
feel like Killer Mike was just a pawn. I'm just putting it out there. I feel like Killer Mike was a pawn in this thing. This is not about Killer Mike is a part of it. I don't know what his percentages are. It's no different than the Serena Williams sisters owning a part of the Miami Dolphins. It's a marketing ploy to put some black faces out there to say it's something that it probably is not.
Don't you think this is worse than that?
Why I think it's worse than that? Because of the fact that they took advantage of what we were going through as a community.
Exactly.
At the time, and they built this bank, right? They built this community, and when you look at it, this is Greenwood's website, right? Killer Mike, Ambassador Young, Brian Glover, Paul Judge is not even there, even though we know he's a big part of what's going on, right? And so everything about this thing, why we exist, Black Wall Street, blah, 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 blah. But right here, right here, it's not going to, there we go. Greenwood is not a bank. Banking services provided by Coastal Community Bank, member FDIC, right? So you got your founding members.
It's a rush card.
And then you got your board and management, which they got Ryan listed there under board and management, right? They didn't even out the graphic. Like they just threw him up there when they made the purchase and said, we got to have.
By the way, that's bothering me. That
what?
Yeah, I'm sorry that I don't stop. Scroll past it.
Right.
Me. I like
so then when it's all done, here's the thing. It's not about who you are. It's about keeping it real with us, right? All of this thing is blackety, 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 black. When you want to sit up here and go to Coastal Carolina Bank, right? Here's Coastal Bank. Here is the bank, right? And so when you start to do your due diligence and you say, okay, Coastal Bank, where is business, blah, 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 blah. Where is the about us? Let me see. Oh, what is this? They might have switched it up because they know we're coming for them.
They probably switched it up, Miguel. If you and I were on this team, I'd have been like, hey, take this down, replace it with some black people real quick.
You better, let me see. Oh, I don't even see the about us in the team up here no more. It's here somewhere. I can't believe here we go about.
It's hidden. It's probably hidden somewhere in the site map now.
It is, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Meet our leadership. This is the bank. Now, if we get into
Seinfeld.
If we get into the board of this bank, that'll be a whole different conversation, right? So, once again, we're not tripping, but don't lie to us. You got all this stuff up about NAACP, UNCF. You got gooder information up here, the King Center, Greenwood Gives Back. All of this,
It's just, again, I didn't like rush cards when they came out. I don't like Cash App. I don't like Greenwood Bank. I think it's all a scam to not help Black people have financial literacy. It's all just, it's easier for you to get money. It's easier, but easier is not always better. Easier is not education. I still think the Gathering Spot is a wonderful location. I would like to see how this goes. Miguel is angry. Y'all see him? He cussed and he leaning back in his chair. You can't see his cup on the side, but it's there. So I will follow Miguel and Tracy's lead on this, but I really enjoyed the Gathering Spot. Me and my husband and his friend, it's I can't tell you guys how wonderful it is. If you're ever in Atlanta and they do an event there, jump at the chance to go. And I hope it keeps its luster.
So here's the thing. We haven't heard from either of the four guys on this screen. These are the four most important people that are involved in this deal. No one's talking about Killer Mike or Ambassador Young. God bless them. No one's talking about because most of us in the community, we know where the rubber hits the road, right? So in this lawsuit, part of the lawsuit, they're actually seeking to regain ownership of the Gathering Spot from the Greenwood folks, and I hope they can pull it off. I hope they can pull it off, because here's the thing: even since you were here, Kia, they've done so much that area where the Gathering Spot is in Atlanta, it's getting ready to become so expensive to breathe. Like, they got so much construction going on there. I know I had heard through the grapevine and through some very credible sources that because that building, the Gathering Spot, is leased, they don't own that. That they've been trying to get them out of that space, right? Because that space is beautiful, as you saw. It's so well, it's gorgeous. It's everything about it was planned out very well, and now they wanted to get them out of there. So how do you get them out of there, right? You acquire it and turn it into what you want it to be, right? Because at that point, all you're doing is stripping some pictures off of the walls. To them, all you're doing is stripping some pictures off the wall.
You know what they're gonna do with it? You know what's ready-made to be, and this is gonna annoy the crap out of you, because then we'll change that after this. If you take the pictures off the wall and don't change anything else, it could be some hipster brewery farmer's market.
Absolutely.
Easy peasy.
It's so. Here's the thing about the Gathering Spot that people don't. There are so many co-working spaces in Atlanta. There's so much entrepreneurship in Midtown. You've got WeWork, and you've got so many co-working spaces in Atlanta, right? That is not what is the endearing part of the Gathering Spot. The endearing part of the Gathering Spot is the community. They can't strip those pictures off the wall and think they're going to keep the community. And I'll leave you with this before we move on. I sat right in that parking lot on Mondays before any of this hit. Wasn't even thinking about this stuff because it hadn't hit yet. I sat in that parking lot on Monday, And I was going to walk in there, and I was just like, the spirit didn't move me. And I sat right there and went right to the Russell Center, which is another organization. And the ironic thing about that, Jay Bailey, who is the CEO of the Russell Center, he built the Russell Center sitting in the Gathering Spot every day.
Oh, you saw the vibes. All right, let's move on. Next story.
All right, so next story we want
Karley
to talk
Russell.
about. We'll keep an eye on that thing, and if you guys want to chat about that, drop it in there. So fill me in. I have not, beyond quite candidly, this story here about the Los Angeles hospital under federal civil rights investigation for allegedly mistreatment of black mothers. Skip? Okay, you can at least like try
We're
to.
going to Karley Russell, the Alabama story. We're going to that story.
Okay, all right.
It's not
Karley
on the
Russell.
list.
All right,
Yes.
so let's see. Which one are we going to go to? We're going to use fours. What we know about Karley Russell, missing Alabama woman. So let's set this up. You go ahead and set this up.
So Karley Russell is a woman in Alabama who went missing, and I actually have a timeline because she went missing in Birmingham, and a lot of people were confused. Apparently, she called 911 when she found a toddler or / lost child walking on the interstate. She called 911. 911 arrives 5 minutes later, and Karley is gone. So here's the actual timeline. Karley left for work from a business at the Summit in Birmingham at approximately 8:20. She ordered food, was traveling there. Karley communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. She had a conversation with 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. after telling dispatch that she had seen a toddler in a diaper on the side of I-495. Then Hoover police arrived on the scene within 5 minutes. Dispatch, they located her wig, cell phone, and purse on the roadway near her vehicle, and her Apple Watch was in her purse. Hoover police detectives, along with investigators from the local and federal agencies, began pursuing possible leads. 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, Hoover 911 Center received a call from Karley's residence that she had returned home on foot. Yeah, that's the timeline.
What? Well, here's the thing. You know, there's rumors and there's the Twitter space, and Lord knows we can't take the Twitter space as being more than what it is. Did she fake it?
But
what?
No, I'm not waiting for you to say the but because I'm waiting for you to not tell the truth, but to be honest about your real feelings. First, let us say
don't put it on me because I don't have no other feelings besides I think the girl was kidnapped and she came back home, but you see it a little bit differently based on the Twitter space. Go ahead.
Not based on the Twitter space, based on my true crime experience, but there have been recent stories. Thanks for the Fat Albert laugh. There have been recent stories where women have faked abductions, and I'm not talking about black. I'm talking about white women have done this. Sherry Papini, who the FBI was so mad at her, they were demanding to a judge, "You need to give her time. We want her to serve time in prison for this. This is ridiculous." And she got 18 months. Another girl whose name is, got to get the child's name. Chloe Stein. She actually dropped out of school in Alabama, didn't want to tell her family. So she faked her own kidnapping and was gone for 4 to 5 days. So this is not out of the realm of possibility. And to me, it's very odd. And everybody's like, "Oh, the toddler walking on the highway, that's not real." That's not the part that I thought was fake, because I feel like when it comes to sex trafficking these days, they would willingly put a baby at risk for a young woman to stop and look for a baby. That's not what I think is odd. What I find completely bizarre to me is that she was dropped off at her home by...
Didn't you say she walked to her home?
Dropped off. She was dropped off. She didn't walk. She was dropped off at her home. Like, even see, I know that face you're making right now. That's your, oh yeah.
Well, no, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, right? So I can't believe, so if you kidnap someone, you're going to drop them off at their door when they ring alarm, camera can catch you. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Because if you're a criminal and you're not trying to get caught, I'm not dropping you off at your door so they can catch me on camera, dropping you off at your door. See if you can find it. There's a story. Her boyfriend. Her boyfriend actually put out a press release or something. He was the first one to speak, and he was talking about how she wasn't mentally able to speak for herself. I don't know what's going on with this situation. Lord knows, I hope this woman didn't fake this thing. I swear to God, I hope he didn't fake this thing, right? But we are at a place now in our community where people will do anything for clout, and I'm just praying to God that's not what happened here.
And we talk about that a lot on Life of Soca Radio about how we hate social media because of what it's turning people into. For example, and this is not to tie these two things together. I'm just tying together the social media aspect of people being crazy. There's a young woman who's actually in jail in Dubai right now because she wanted to go
Yeah.
viral for being a Black woman trucker, whatever she was trying to do. And she actually had gotten some people fired in the States at her trucking job in the States. And she wanted to be the first female trucker in Dubai. Well, newsflash, Dubai is not one of those places where women can just be truck drivers. Women have a very serious place in the community, and you're not allowed to go above that station. It's just how the culture is. Well, she got into a car accident in her rental car, and she went to go get her stuff from the rental car place. The guy wouldn't give it to her without at her fee because you wrecked a rental car, so you have to pay a fee to get your stuff, finish that out.
Right.
And she started screaming at him. They started screaming back and forth. And in the UAE, you can't scream at a man if you're a female, and she got arrested. And her family is acting like, oh, you can't do that. Men and women are equal. Not in the UAE.
That's Dubai. You got a whole.
Not in the UAE.
While you guys are all while people are loving the whole Dubai experience, there are documentaries that show that there's a whole community of, I think, Pakistanis that were basically that almost operated slaves to keep and maintain that beautiful world that everybody likes to enjoy. These people are not the same. They're not like us. They don't care about. No.
In the real neighborhoods of Dubai, because there actually is Real Housewives of Dubai now. Those women are not out here in bikinis and naked and doing stuff. Even the girl who's got the best body out of everybody, they took her to the beach. You know what she wore? A full scuba suit. She had on a long sleeve, long pants, zip up scuba suit. Yeah. The other girls, they had on bathing suits. They were one pieces, and I bet you they had cover ups on them the entire time. This is how Dubai works. It may look pretty to you guys, the people who live there.
Right. No, this is not so you can't go over to, all these Instagram pages with all these women traveling all over the world, and please go enjoy yourself. But read up on the countries that you're going to, read up on the cultures of the places where you're going, because you think just because you're a tourist, everything is all good, and everything is all good until you break that one law, that one tradition, that all of a sudden you're just an average criminal, and they're going to snatch you up.
Her going to the UAE to be the first female truck driver in her tight dress and her low whatever, it's clout. And, they started GoFundMe for Karley Russell's family, $63,000 that was raised.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, to me, it's giving me, it's giving me Jessie vibes. It's giving me Jessie vibes. And I don't know if that's the culture and social media that's done that to me, or it's really a feeling.
Yeah, we're all very skeptical. You're talking about Jussie Smollett, and who ruined the whole Empire franchise with his Chicago exploits. But man, Lord knows, I hope she didn't go to Dubai and fake this whole thing.
No, she didn't go to Dubai. She wouldn't gone that long. But I think what people are now, the internet is now all over the place about it. We all are very happy that she's safe and sound. We want to protect Black women. But if
we're back talking about the girl from Alabama now. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. You're right. I wasn't mixing them up. But we all want to support Black women. But if a Black person does one more stupid thing, I'm done. I'm always going to be with a magnifying glass from now on, because every time we think it's something serious, it's something dumb.
Well, we're going to assume that Karley Russell was abducted and that she's back home, and we're going to celebrate that, and we're going to keep it moving. If it comes to be anything besides that, we're going to shame her just like we do anybody else who does that type of garbage stuff.
And they never found the toddler that she was looking for. That's the big thing, everybody. There was no child.
Well, let's just say that they baited her with the child, right?
Yeah,
let's just say they baited.
True.
So they're not going to leave the child on the side of the road. The child was the bait. They picked the bait, put the baby back in the car seat, and kept going. So I don't buy that part of the story. It's just crazy, man. And it's like every day is something crazier that we're seeing out here in this world. And I'm just like, my God, what do we have to do to get ourselves back in a place where there's civility and stuff is going to make sense? Right now, nothing makes sense. All right, so let's move on. We'll continue to follow that story up, and let's see what else we got going.
SAG-AFTRA. Let's talk about the actors.
Yeah, let's get into that. So, our last big story of the day, before we get into some little bit more, some funnier stuff. This strike which is going on right now, I keep hearing these stories, and which I know because I know people who are in the business. Stop thinking that everybody that works that maybe you own these unions, all these people are rich, because they're not.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's
That's
just it's not, guys. It's not, you got to understand how this thing works. All these writers and people, um, yeah, it's so as I'm looking at this thing right now. So what is SAG after? SAG is the union which
for actors and actresses.
we're actors and actresses because the directors have already settled, right? I believe, and so these are contract workers
Wait,
as
what did
much
you
as
just say?
say again.
Who settled? Who settled?
Directors, the Directors Guild is already settled, I believe. Check me on that if I'm wrong, but I believe
I'll
the
check it out.
directors have already settled. So now you got the writers and actors that are now in the midst of this negotiation, and basically what they're saying is that they want to be fairly compensated. But here's the crazy thing, and I just saw this, and I'm gonna see if I can find it.
It's tentative. The director's one is tentative.
It's tentative. Okay, I knew it was just about done. But here's the thing that bothers me, and I knew it has something to do with AI. As we keep talking about artificial intelligence, and we keep going down that path, and I think you know what? Let's just where we at? Where we at? Boom. Yes,
This
it's a
better stay
marketing
to the
message too.
topic and not go off into our jobs because we still need to talk about this as a
We
whole.
still gonna
Like,
talk about this thing,
okay.
but so as we talk about the business of this deal that we're talking about, is that the AI that we all are loving, many of us are loving. I hear you. The AI that many of us are loving right now, they're talking about having extras come in one day. They get your face, they get your likeness, they get everything. And then they take you, create an AI of you, and they can use your likeness forevermore.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
Yeah.
So as we out here making these AI, and I done used it to make some pictures and my little thing on Instagram, all that
You're
stuff.
a scab.
We whatever. We're using this AI stuff, and now they're like, okay, why do you think these actors and writers and want you to have the ability to Morgan Freeman wants you to be able to use his face and make movies forever? There was an interview, and I hope I can find it, where there was a woman who was talking about this thing glowingly. Imagine that you can go and you can go and have a movie that you want to have, and I'm just going to throw two names out. The names she used, but a movie with Denzel and Morgan Freeman with Halle Berry, and you can just choose it and create any movie that you want. Wouldn't that be amazing? No, that wouldn't be amazing.
No, it would be amazing.
It would not be amazing. But in addition to these people being artists who are sensitive about
Yeah.
right. You can't. I don't want to be Denzel if I'm Denzel Washington, sitting there watching somebody that created a movie, has all my likeness, has my voice, has everything that I put 50 years of my life into, and some AI is going to determine my next movie, right? And if you're going to do that, as much as I may not like it, then you need to be, just like you're using my face and name in perpetuity, you need to be paying me in perpetuity. But the executives in Hollywood said, no, we can use your face and name as much as we want. We're not going to pay you anymore. And that is part of the reason why the actors and the writers are striking.
Well, that's why the actors are now involved. The writers are now annoyed because the reason why the original strike happened is because streaming has kind of messed up the life of kind of being a writer. Because before streaming services, you would write for a series for years and years of Seinfeld, Friends, The Big Bang Theory. You'd write for them all season, you get your paycheck every week. Then when those series go into syndication, you would get a whole separate check. You'd end up making like $1,000 a month just in syndication checks from your show that's going to run for the next 25 years on TBS, TLC, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, now that streaming services are buying up these series, streaming services are like, well, we are a part of that deal. It's not in syndication. You just been moved to a streaming services, so we can pay you for a couple of cents, or we don't have to pay you at all because it's on a streaming service, and that's not in the contract. And even for people who write for streaming services, for the shows that we love, for FUBAR, love FUBAR, for The Night Watch, the Night Agent, for all these ones on streaming services, they got one flat rate. But this series runs for months and months and months, or over
Correct.
a year, until they remove it from the platform.
Correct.
And they get no money for it running that long of time. So what makes streaming different from syndication? And that's what the writer's issue is. And I'm sorry, I agree with the writers.
Of course you do. We all do. You know, there's a lawsuit going on right now, addressed from Black Sheep. Who, you know, people say, who's dressed from Black Sheep? Engine number 9 on the New York Transit line. This song has been 35 years. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. So he is suing Warner Brothers, I think is the company who originally released it. And in his contract, his claim is that it talked about the points that he would get, but then it has a line that they would get half of all profits from anything from, you know, I'm butchering it, but basically anything that hasn't been invented yet. That song and that music was created long before streaming. Since streaming has been there, he's saying, you guys owe me money from all of this streaming and selling it to insurance agents and companies and stuff to use as, you owe me money for this. I think the number is $700 million is what he's suing the record company for. It's the same conversation. It's the same conversation that these writers and people may have signed these agreements with their unions long before streaming was a thing.
Yeah, and then my mom had a good point, is that back in the day, a part of these actors' contracts would be like the DVD sales, like that they would get a huge portion of DVD sales. Well, there's no more DVD sales.
There's no more DVD sales.
It's sold to streaming. But even though it gets sold to streaming, they don't get a percentage of that. They don't get, which they should, because technically you're selling it's basically a DVD that you are selling.
But it's not a DVD. Lawyers will eat that alive. And that's
even get, like, for example, me and Omar, because we don't go to the theater, we do just order at home. Do they even get a percentage of the order from home service?
Probably not. It's
because
all
that's
digital.
A DVD sale, basically.
If you are a Denzel Washington who's been in this game for 40 years, and let's just say the original agreement, and there hasn't been any amendments to their original union. I don't even know how unions work. I'm not a union member of any sort. But if there's any sort of agreement which you sign with the union for them to go negotiate for you, no one thought about streaming 20 years ago.
No. Well, the only person who thought about it was Jason Weaver's mom. You may not know Jason Weaver, but Jason Weaver played Simba in The Lion
Simba,
King.
yeah.
Jason Weaver's mom, because they were going to give him a flat rate fee, and she was like, no, I don't want that.
Perpetuity.
Yeah. She put in there in perpetuity. Absolutely. This man now makes $10,000 a month just from him singing, being in The Lion King and all that stuff.
30 years ago. And kudos to him. So our marketing master tip that, you know, as we finishing up this part of the segment of the show is you know, it's crazy. We're looking at what is going on in the community, and it's not going to get better.
No,
it's not going to get better. It is what it is at this point. It's like now you got to go negotiate a whole different time.
Sorry, can we back for a second and talk about the likeness situation? Does anybody else? Well, me and Miguel know, but the people who say that from the studios not know how creepy that is to take somebody's entire likeness, face, and body, house it in a machine, and then let's say it's Wakanda 5 that comes out 15 years from now. Right. Now they're taking Black Becky from the machine, changing her outfit, and just put you in the marketplace scene.
Right.
Here's
the part that really scares me from a historical standpoint. I saw this 3 years ago where they showed an AI situation where Barack Obama was saying stuff he never said.
Oh yeah, when the face would be the same, but the mouth would be the part that's really.
Well, of course, at that point they're testing it out. You can put content out in the marketplace now that 30 years from now people would be debating if that was ever really said. I was watching Saturday morning news shows, and that is a real issue right now.
No, yeah, Nicki Minaj and Tom Holland, they had it happen to them. There was a whole little spoof somebody did showing Nicki Minaj and Tom Holland doing this goofy murder mystery in tracksuits saying crazy stuff. And Nicki Minaj was like, who put this out there? Why is it out here?
So now you take that same issue with a Nicki Minaj and make it Donald Trump. or make it Joe Biden, or make it the president of France. We are it's like a tinderbox we're sitting on right now. And by the time people realize what has happened, it doesn't matter when the gun is already going off. It doesn't matter when the conflict has already started. You can't put that back in the bottle, And so that's kind of where we are today. All right, let's move on. What other stories do we have on your mind right now?
Do we have any more serious stories, or can we jump right to the fun stuff before we wrap up for the day?
What did you have? Let me see what you have.
Oh, we got one more serious story because I'm going to tear this guy a new one. Arizona Republican refers to Black Americans as colored people in House floor debate. Yeah,
yes. And so here's the story. Go ahead and set that up while I see if I can pull it up.
Hold on, I got to pull it up on my end too.
Here we Arizona. Go. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
so Arizona. Go ahead.
Arizona Republican Eli Crane says he misspoke when he referred to colored people on the House floor. So basically what it said, in a heated floor debate on my amendment that would prohibit discrimination on the color of one's skin in the armed forces, I misspoke. Every one of us is made in the image of God and created equal. They always bring it to God. But what he actually said was white people, he was talking about veterans access. And he was saying how white people something. And then instead of saying people of color, he said colored people. You would have thought the Black one in there, their heads, wigs and weave exploding everywhere. They were like, no, I need to speak right now. Because what he said was so ignorant and just so random. It was inappropriate. Here's a video of it. Just so you guys have full context.
Let's take it back. All right.
Oh, the volume's not working?
Are you not hearing it?
Nope, I'm not hearing it. Okay, so I'll read the quote. He says, my amendment has nothing to do with whether or not colored people or Black people or anything else can serve, okay? It has nothing to do with color of your skin, any of that stuff. That is a direct quote from Ichabod Crane here. And the quickly prompted Beatty, who was Black and previously served as the chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus, asked to strike his words from the congressional record. I'm asking for a unanimous consent to take down the words of referring to me and any of my colleagues as colored people. Crane at first tried to admit his comments to people of color, but Beatty again stepped in and said she wanted the word stricken from the record. Rightfully so. Like,
so here's the thing. So guess who wasn't offended by this?
You.
Oh no, I was offended. Don't blame me.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Charlemagne the God. He's on the Breakfast Club this morning.
He's so weird. He's
a provocateur is what he is. He's a provocateur. That's what he is. So here is his position, going back to the NAACP. Well, why do we have an organization called the National Advancement or for National Association for the Advancement of Colored People? That organization is 109 years old, and I'm just throwing this. It's 100 plus years old. Right?
It's old. Yes.
It's old. That's a branding conversation. Not trying to rename, but here's the thing:
National Council of Negro Women, which me and my mother are both members of.
Right. So we know that we've been having Black folks have had an identity crisis since the beginning of time in this country, and so, but that doesn't give this Republican Congressman MAGA dude the right to sit up here and use that language in describing Black folks. And then here's the real story behind this, guys. When the Supreme Court went through this affirmative action piece last week with the colleges, here's what they did not include. They did not include the military academies. So you can still make decisions,
which are hard as all get out to get into. That's
well,
hard.
Here's the thing. Right. So it's okay to have those type of affirmative action plays for the military academy because these young people are willing to sacrifice their lives to serve this country. So it's okay to make that decision. So he expounds on that, and so he's still upset about that. Well, why do we have to, the colored people get an opportunity? Everybody, my wife, someone a graduate of one of those amazing institutes of leadership at West Point, United States Military Academy. And some of the dopest people I know are graduates of the United States Military Academy, and most of them are Black. It's interesting how you love they love us, and oh, you're my brother, we're veterans, until it benefits and puts people in position to get themselves out of the ghetto. I'm so tired of these racist rap bastards. I really am. And so, and a lot of them don't even realize how racist they are. And here's the thing, we're going to continue to call you out.
Yeah, and apparently the Republican Party is going to continue to call you out because, again, like we talked about last week, they would like
the Republican Party going to call them out?
They have been. The Republican Party wants the racism to go back to being covert. They would love for it to go back to
I can believe that.
Calling you the N-word under my breath. I don't all of y'all who are out here pushing it out loud. We don't want nothing to do with you. Please go away. You're ruining the plan.
They are definitely ruining. They are loud and wrong, because that's where we will agree. We'll agree on that one. And so that's it's crazy, but. And then the other situation. Did you see the piece where Marjorie Taylor Greene calls herself at the conservative event this past weekend, calling out?
I don't watch that hoe. No, and I say hoe for a reason. Let's move on to a real fun story.
I got to get this in before we go, because whatever we got to get this in because she really thought. You said audio. I don't know why my audio. So basically, on this clip here. And I'm not going to play it because you said you can't hear it, but you can kind of read it. So, in essence, she got up here and she started talking about all the things that Joe Biden has done, and that he starts comparing Joe Biden to Lyndon Johnson and talking about how all the things he's trying to help the elderly, and she was spouting these points like it was a negative. And Joe Biden is going to eat this crap up. And his campaign is going to eat this up and turn this into an ad. And I just don't understand what is going on in that community, that they're not even trying to hide their racism anymore. It's kind of like, this is the reality. This is the real deal. Don't believe nothing else no one else is saying.
Well, this is the one thing that Republicans said they would never do, and that's cannibalize each other. They are cannibalizing each other because everybody's all over the place. You got your Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got your Lauren Robarts over here, you got your McCarthy's, you've got your Candace Owens spokesperson way over here, you got your Donald Trump who hates everybody, you got your Ron DeSantis who's trying to do something. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just hoping for the best. It's all over the place, and it never used to be like that. It used to be and you can attest to this, it used to be all of us are getting behind one person and everybody's going to rock with it, and you're going to keep your mouth shut about it. End of conversation. And
that's how the Democrats do it. That's why the Democrats lose so many state races. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. But Democrats now
Democrats do what? They get behind one candidate? Because that's never happened in the history of the Democrats.
They what the Republicans are doing right now is what the Democrats been doing for years. And you've got all of these splinters because you have this situation with DeSantis. They feel like DeSantis is. I was just talking to a colleague of mine who was on the right earlier today, and we were talking about that. And he said, well, DeSantis is the most electable. What did he say? He said DeSantis is the best candidate, but he's not the most electable. Then he started to talk about Mike Pence. Mike Pence is really the right vanilla guy for the job.
He is.
Right.
But it's gotten to the point with the Republican candidates is like, which STD would you prefer to have? Would you prefer to have gonorrhea? Would you like syphilis? They're both curable, but you're going to have it for a little bit. We like genital warts.
Oh, my God. So
it's what's what it is.
And when it's all said and done, the biggest one sitting out there like HIV is Donald Trump, if you want to make that analogy.
He is. He's been HIV to this country forever.
Would it be more HIV? It would be closer to herpes. Which one is it? I don't know.
No, the reason why I say HIV because I feel like Donald Trump's election, and we've talked about this before, really turned the tide in politics to a way that we never thought it would go to.
We never thought we would envision
in a million years it would get here, where we have the highest rate of racist attacks on Blacks and Jewish people, where we have crazy people who are attacking our government, who are willing to bring up arms against our government. We have politicians who have no education. Forget, it used to be, only the Ivy League in the politics. Now, it could be the girl down the street who you just saw at Publix who has no education, but her husband said she's really smart, and she gets elected.
Oh, my God. All right, what's your last funny story that you want to talk about? We've been serious today.
So, fun story, opinion story.
You want to talk about the ice cream?
I gotta talk about the ice cream because it's funny and stupid.
Hold on. what is going on with my videos and my setups today?
You should
have messing my stuff up. I don't know what's up with my video stuff. All right, what story today? These are stories that we grab out of these internet streets, and you'd be like, oh, what? Did that really happen? Yes, it did. It really happened. All right, let's talk about your ice cream story.
So tell me what you think about this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a text message exchange between a woman and a man who are planning to go on a date. Here we go. Hi, this is Vance. She says, hi. He says, hope you've had a great day. I'm excited for tomorrow. I can pick you up, but if you are not comfortable with that, we can just meet there. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like getting some ice cream in this hot weather. LOL. She writes back, sorry if this may come off as rude, but I don't do ice cream dates. I'm a 26-year-old woman, and a date like that seems like the absolute bare minimum for me. Meeting up would be a waste of both of our time since we probably don't have the same vibe. Best wishes. He writes back, cool, smiley face, sunglasses. This really sent people through mixed reviews. I think this girl deserves to be single for the rest of her life because
maybe she lactose intolerant. She didn't.
She could be, but it never said that was going to be the only part of their date. Did that say that was going to be the only part of their date?
I am clearly joking. She is going to. I posted this on the Kiki Palmer story. I said she's going to get the life she deserves. This is what she wants. She's going to be 15 years from now, 41 years old. Like, why are there no single men? I can't find a good man. I don't understand. You think you too good to go have an ice cream date with somebody who probably would have took you out for a steak later. But regardless, it should be not about what he has, and it should be about the relationship and just building and having a little fun. Everything is so pretentious right now. It's crazy.
I mean, and here's the thing. I do believe that it should be about somewhat of what he has. But how do you not know that if you don't go for the ice cream, if you don't go for the Slurpee, if you don't go for the coffee first to have a conversation? Because imagine does anybody know how uncomfortable it is to be on a bad date that's a sit-down dinner date, that you guys are only on drinks and appetizers, and now you got to sit through another 45 minutes of date with this man?
Right.
An ice cream date,
it's
you're
quick.
Just like,
it's quick.
It's a great ice cream. Listen, it's not going to work out. Thank you for the cone. I'm gonna head out. And you can go coffee too. Thank you for the coffee.
Coffee as well. But everything is, I done seen a whole lot of craziness in these internet streets this week, man. This one woman I saw, she said she was gonna drop off her kid. She said she's dropping her kid off at the fire station because she don't want the child no more. And she's in the video. Because the dad is holding the video and he's like, what are you talking about? I can't believe you, blah, 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 blah. You wasn't there for me. And that's where the comment trolls come in. See, that's the problem. He ain't there to help her. No, stop that bull crap. You don't have any problem with this woman saying she don't want to be a mother no more. She wants to drop the kid off at the fire station. You worrying about the baby daddy ain't there paying no child support.
Was that me?
What?
Was that a video that I posted? Because honestly, as a mom of 3 kids, there are some days you love your children, other days where's the nearest fire station? Where's the nearest hospital drop-off point? Because these kids are driving me crazy.
And I rebuke that even coming out your mouth. That woman was insane, and she was so serious about this thing. I don't understand where we are in this world today. I'm so happy that I found my queen.
Let's stick to the dating situation because
coming back to this dating situation.
Back to the dating situation. Me and Miguel are both married, and we both happy that we're married because I couldn't. No, I'm good on trying to date right now. But I watched Kendra G live on Instagram Live, that people are familiar with the Kendra G show, and hearing these people on the show, hearing these women's expectations, hearing the men's expectations, it's just like, are y'all serious? It's one thing to have requirements and have a little bit of expectation, but to be like, he has to make well over 6 figures, he has to be accepting to have 2 kids from 2 different men, or for the guys, she has to be okay with my baby's mom, and she has to be okay that I'm trying to build my career right now and build me up, but I still want her to take care of me, but she needs to do this and that. It's like, why can't it just be, and maybe it's just me with the bare minimum, I wanted a good man with a good job who was attractive.
Right. Have whatever standards that you want to have. I get it. But I said it before and I'll say it again. You're going to get what you ask for. Y'all think at 25, that it's sweet. But baby girl didn't want to eat that ice cream, but she eating chicken fingers and wings and by herself and sitting in front of watching Netflix and chilling. And then all of a sudden she ain't going to that gym. And then all of a sudden them wings and that attitude gonna catch up with her. She gonna be 35 years old like, oh, that's why these men ain't jacked. Huh?
I blame of Instagram and the access to celebrities and rapper girlfriends.
I blame a lack of self-discipline. But go ahead.
But when you're so accessible to see, well, so-and-so took her on a date here, and so-and-so took his girl on a date here. I'm prettier than her. I'm better than her. I should be able to get a date here. So the next guy should know that I'm better than her and give me that kind of date. So
that means the ice cream is not good enough for me. All right. So anyway, we had a treat of an interview, and we're going to continue to work it to see if we can get this interview that I think that you guys are going to enjoy. No, we're done. Not. Okay.
You try. Let me tell you to anybody who's going to be guesting the show, you get one time to try me. Once. And by trying me, meaning you say you're going to do something and you don't show up or you don't respond to emails, you get once to try me. And then I'm good. That's it.
All right. Well, I guess we won't have that interview. But
I'll find somebody else. I will always
find somebody else. We'll find somebody else. No question about that. All right, sis. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us tonight. Life of Circle Radio, #LFC Radio. If you got any more further conversation about the Gathering Spot, which is part of our big part of the show, we want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. We'll holler at y'all next week.